It has been exactly 1 year since I experienced an extremely intense weed-induced panic attack, which triggered a severe episode of depersonalization. After the first few puffs, my mind exploded into a state of sheer, utter terror. Like how in movies, where you see the thermometer gauge rise and smash out of the top. Like, my mind truly reached its breaking point. And if it didn't, it was fucking teetering on the edge. I've never experienced anything like it, and the 2 hours that followed were the hardest of my life. Without question, nothing even comes close. In fact, I think I've got a little clip of me suffering through the experience, so if I can find that, I'll add that in. This is absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. I don't know where I am or what I'm doing. I'm just waiting for it to pass so I can get my wits about me again. But this is fucking nightmarish. It's like way beyond the worst psilocybin experience I had. I can't even talk right now. Then, a month into this state, I went to London for a friend's 30th birthday party and got extremely drunk. I had also taken a small amount of Adderall that evening, as I felt like I needed chemical help to get through this occasion, considering the fragile mental state I was in, and Adderall had previously had extremely positive effects on social anxiety for me. I woke up the next morning and the altered state of reality was turned up to 11. I just couldn't believe how different and strange the world felt. The closest thing I can compare it to is when a flashbang goes off in your face in Call of Duty. But that doesn't cover the surreal alien effect it also produced. It was just horrible, and inside I was suffering so badly. I remember laying on my bed when I got in and having another panic attack. This was the first time I had drank since the weed experience, so I had no idea the detrimental effect it would have. I had reached the peak of the worst experience of my life. I spent the months that followed in an extremely uncomfortable, altered state of reality. I've never been closer to suicide than around April, May, June 2019. I couldn't do my job, I couldn't shower, couldn't even watch my favourite TV shows or sit in the one place in the world I felt most comfortable. Everything just felt so different, so alien, so uncomfortable. I didn't know what to do with myself or where to put myself. Everything was just so heightened and intense, like my brain was on red alert 24/7 and I was stuck in a fight or flight response. Thankfully, time has shown me that all things get better and I'm now out of that hellish mental state, for the most part. Certainly not 100% cured, but much better now than I was a year ago. I'm at a level where I can tolerate it, put it behind me to some extent, and continue on with life. Obviously, like all of you, I wish it never happened. I wish I'd been more sensible in trying untested drugs for the first time. But it's a very hard lesson I've had to learn. So, with that said, I would like to share with you some things I tried over the course of the last year, which I believed helped with my recovery. Obviously, I encourage you to do your own research. Don't just take my word for it on any of these things. Of course, we're all different, so your mileage may vary, and you may well find different things that help you that might not have helped me, and vice versa. So the first point I'd like to make is you are not losing your mind. For months, I thought I was losing my mind and becoming psychotic or schizophrenic, but I wasn't. And one clear sign that you're not losing your mind is that you're aware of it and you're worried that you might be losing your mind. Psychotic people believe there is nothing wrong with them and it's the outside world that's wrong, whereas the way I was thinking of it is that there's something wrong with me. There's something changing in my own head, and the external world is fine. So try and get that thought out of your head, because thinking you might be losing your mind is only going to make your anxiety worse and make you dissociate more, and make your depersonalization worse as a result. Our objective is to calm your mind as much as possible. Depersonalization is an anxiety disorder, so the calmer you feel, the less significant the depersonalization will feel. Leading on from that, you need to get into a place of acceptance. It's going to be really hard for you to do this, because it was for me, and it still is for me. But you need to stop looking back. Don't dwell on the experience and spend all of your time wishing you could go back and undo it. Stop thinking about what life was like before depersonalization, because this is your life now. This is your new normal. You can't go back, and you will never be able to. So all the daydreaming and fantasizing about pre-depersonalization is just wasted energy and will get you nowhere. Your only choice is to look forward and make peace with what happened to you. And know it will make you a stronger person, and you will feel better eventually. Everything passes. Nothing is permanent in life. Eventually, you'll start to feel more normal. You'll start to feel how you used to. Eventually, I don't know how long it will take. Some people it might be a week. Some people, unfortunately, you might be looking at years. But I believe that it can happen eventually for everyone. Nobody's path is the same. No two people are going to have the same recovery path. So for me, for example, I thought I would never feel better, and the only way out was to end my life, to be perfectly honest. I thought that was it. I'd ruined my brain permanently, and I was never going to feel the same again, and I couldn't imagine a life where I felt like this, like that all the time. And I just thought, well, that's it then. I'm going to have to end my life at some point. But here I am, a year later, feeling much better and feeling more positive about the future. I'm not 100% myself, but a year down the line, I have seen big improvements. I still get moments where I can go to my local shop, for example, and it feels like I'm going there for the first time. Everything just feels completely surreal and new and uncommon. But I've made peace with the fact that I will probably never feel the same way I did before this experience. But that's okay. And having that mindset is so important, because ironically your best chance of recovery is to not care too much if you ever feel better or ever feel the way you used to, and just get on with life as normal, or your new normal as it is now. So the next thing is Cbd oil. I tried this because I read that it has antipsychotic properties, and I found that it helped me and reduced anxiety overall. But a very important point to note is make sure you get CBD oil with no THC in it, because that's the psychoactive component. That's the bit that does the damage in weed for people that get depersonalization, and that is what you want to stay away from. So don't go anywhere near anything with THC in it. I mean, well, you know, if you want to, you can, but I would highly recommend against it. This is the CBD oil that I have been using. It's from a company called Love CBD. I went with them because they were highly ranked on a website that was comparing a lot of different CBD oils, and they provide lab reports on their website showing what is in their oil, and they've got a tiny, minuscule amount of THC in it. And yeah, that seemed to help me. I can't be certain how much it helped me, because it might have just been the passing of more time that helped me to recover more during that period. But if I had that time again, I would take CBD again. So that would be a recommendation from me. And I'll just reel off a few more. We've got theanine. I've actually only started taking this recently, the past month or so, but I have noticed an improvement in my memory recall as well as general cognitive function. So do your own research, but I've read that it's meant to be helpful for brain health just in general. And these aren't ranked in order. Some I would recommend a lot more than others. This one in particular is very important. This should be the top of your list, if not very near the top. Talk to someone. Don't keep this experience to yourself. Open up to someone you can trust, who will empathise and listen to you and share the full experience with them and how you're feeling. Just sharing your problems with another human being can be therapeutic. I've been lucky enough to have a few friends that I can open up to about this, and my parents and my sisters. Obviously nobody really understands, because the only way you can fully understand is to have experienced it yourself. But just the fact that they'll listen and appreciate what I'm going through is something. And if you've got nobody that you can open up to, then make a video, put it on YouTube, talk to yourself about it, record a video about it, and upload it. And you might find other people looking for this sort of thing that find it, and you can strike up a dialogue with them that way and share your experiences together. Next we have meditation. You have to get yourself out of the red alert mode, and mindfulness is a good way to do that. So for me, without fail, every day for 10 minutes, I set a timer for 10 minutes, and I just sit in a chair with my eyes closed, focus on my breath. Every time a thought comes in, just try and wipe it from your mind and start again. Just for 10 minutes every day. It's not much of a commitment, but over a long period of time, over months, it will make a difference, and it will definitely help quiet down the chatter in your mind and help get you out of a state of permanent anxiety. And if 10 minutes feels like too much for you, then try just 2 minutes a day, because I still think that will make a difference. Next we have take one day at a time. I know it's fucking hard at the beginning, and you don't know where to put yourself or what to do with yourself, and all you want is just to feel normal again. And those initial weeks, months are really tough, but you have to try and hang in there, and don't get your hopes up that you're going to start feeling better within a matter of weeks. Some people might, so I don't want to completely discourage you, but I would expect not to feel that way, and then you won't be disappointed. But yeah, for me, I would say I started feeling significant progress probably around the 9-month mark, because I think I might have had it to some extent before that experience anyway, so my mind was already in it. And I still got it a little bit now, because I'm not happy with my life, so I'm not going to feel like I want to fully embrace who I am until I sort out a lot of other issues. But I would just say we're back to the level that it was before that experience. Exercise, very important, particularly aerobic exercise. Not only will jogging outside in the fresh air and sunshine help, hopefully you live in a sunny environment. Studies have shown aerobic exercise releases something called brain-derived neurotropic factor, which has been said to be like miracle grow for the brain. This specific BDNF protein basically fertilizes brain cells to keep them functioning and growing, as well as propelling the growth of new neurons. It has been shown to speed brain injury recovery. It can't hurt to have all these healthy, useful chemicals floating around in your brain that help with brain damage and help stimulate your brain, the growth of new brain cells. So, and you get them with aerobic exercise, and aerobic exercise has an antidepressant effect, because certainly going through this made my depression worse, definitely. So if you can do any natural methods you can to feel better about it and to improve your mental health, then go for it. And again, I know it's tough. When you're in those episodes, and you don't even recognise your own reflection, the last thing you want to do is go out for a run. But it's very important that you do. Which actually brings me on to the next point. Don't focus on it. I know that's easier said than done as well. But positive distractions that get you in a flow state are very important. Think about it. Depersonalization is only a problem when you're focusing on it. If you're deep into your favourite video game, not thinking about anything but how to get to the next level, then that's a win, and suddenly DPDR doesn't exist. The whole time you're not thinking about it, it doesn't exist. It's only when you give it your attention that it exists. So you want to do whatever you can, any flow states, any activities, to get yourself into that flow state, to stop yourself thinking about this condition. The more you can do that, the better. And probably the quicker you'll recover as well, because your brain will stop thinking that it's in a dangerous position. It will just be focused on the task at hand, whatever you're thinking about. So next we have stay away from all drugs. For me, I even had to stay off caffeine for several months after this experience, because I could actually feel it making me more anxious. And this is from someone that would have 2 or 3 coffees every day up to that point, and it never really concerned me. I was so sensitive to everything in those initial months. Even cans of Coke, coffees, tea, alcohol didn't affect me a completely different way after that. Being drunk felt so strange. So if you're a sensitive or highly strung personality type like me, I would stay away from all drugs until you feel comfortable, especially weed. For me personally, it's not worth the risk trying it again, but we're all different. It's up to you guys to make that decision, but I would advise against it, definitely. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is this little stone. It's a bit scratched on my one because I've been rubbing it so much, but it says "This too shall pass," and it's just something that I hold in my hand, or have been, whenever I was going through a rough patch. Nice little reminder that everything is temporary. I kept it in my pocket wherever I went, and whenever I had a bad episode of DPDR, or whenever I was struggling in like a public place or something, like for example when I went to the cinema for the first time again, a few weeks after this happened, that was really tough. That was a lot harder than I was expecting, and I felt my heart rate increase, and I thought I was going to have a panic attack in the cinema. So I had this stone in my pocket, just started rubbing it and reminding myself, this too shall pass, and just try and distract myself with the film and just focus on what I'm watching instead. And it's good because the writing is debossed, I think the word is, which means it's actually indented into the surface, so when you rub it you can kind of feel the letters of the writing. Yeah, it just help give me an extra little bit of relief in certain scenarios. So I hope this helps. If it helps just one person to have a slightly easier time than I did, then it was totally worth making. Good luck to you all, and remember, this too shall pass.